married years, trips and happy places that they had been most recently. Looks like a yo-yo. I never did get it to work right. I think I can do one now, but I'm not sure. That's the dock, I think. Is it? Different bathing trunks. Not scratchy. What's Mom doing here? Lovely place in the forest. No, there are no fish. Well, I don't know. From the height of that dock that I just got off of, maybe it was the previous year that I fell off the end. Oh well. That used to be a sailboat. I remember having knocked the mast and everything else off of it. Actually, I thought to make it into a speedboat. We come, Dad and me. What's this? You can tell it's Pennsylvania from the red dirt. During one of these trips, I can recall being made to stay in our hotel. Maybe that's it. In a bedroom, had a sink in it, and I was supposed to go take a nap while Mom and Dad went out. I didn't like it much. Oh, I remember this barn. Smelled like there'd been a lot of cows in there. Oh, come on now. I don't know how my father got me to do that. Or mother, or somebody. There's my speedboat. Well, it was supposed to be a sailboat. Dad needs a tan, looks a lot like me. Needing a tan, I mean. I wonder who was taking the picture. I used to watch my father row, and I thought he was pretty good at it. I've not been too bad. Not too good either. I don't know these little kids. They seem unhappy though. Well, here we go. The outside of this box was titled Christmas 1944, but on looking inside I find it says Picnic, Cold Spring Harbor, 1944, Mr. and Mrs. S.R. Seaman, and Christmas. Let's see. Hardly looks like Christmas to me, looks more like Roger. Oh, Roger's walking now pretty well, almost, but not quite. Easier? Nope. Hey, we do deep knee bends. Fantastic. Airplane. Goodness sakes. Mom looks a year or two older, and so do I. I don't know, but there was a place we used to go for a picnic in Syosset. Well, I always thought it was Syosset. Might have been Cold Spring Harbor because they are very close together. I remember a little charcoal barbecue grill my father would bring, and we'd have a nice picnic and sit outside in the summer, cook something, and have a good time. This might have been the place. I think it's a housing development now, if this is the place. Oh, my grandfather Seaman on the left, my grandmother Seaman on the right. Sydney and Margaret. Oh, there's the old picture hanging on the wall. This must have been our living room at 518 Sperry Boulevard. Picture looks better than it does now. I think it goes quack, 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 quack. We discussed the merits of the pull train. For those who have been keeping track of World War II, I might note that for the past couple of reels we're back on steel, so I guess World War II was working pretty well as far as we were concerned. This is winter 1945. Oops, not yet. Well, here we go again. I guess they'd say technical difficulties. Roger was getting pretty big. Goodness sakes. He has the red hat. Ah, Grandma Judd. Where are we? Oh, I think this was at our house at 518 Sperry Boulevard. There was a little clip of a fence there my father had made, I recall it. A lattice design. This is probably taken now in Great Neck on Douglaston Parkway. I've learned from the past films. Grandma Judd. I don't know what she's discussing here. Or thinking. It does seem fairly serious, though. Probably in here is one of the better pictures of her. You can see the face of her daughter Vivian, aged somewhat. I think this is one of the better pictures I've seen of her. And my mother, Barbara, me, and Roger. I remember the hat on the left. They had earaches once, and I liked to wear that hat because it kept my ears from hurting. They didn't used to have medicines like they do now. Keeping the hat on made my ears feel better. And I don't know who this is, but might have been the kid across the street, or Harold Hunziker. Might have been Douglas Jorgensen, or Harold Hunziker, or Roger. Oh, it's probably Roger. Why would anybody take pictures of the kids across the street, for pity's sakes? End of this film. Of course that was my brother Roger. In this day and age, we're so profligate with film, we'll take pictures of most anything and say, yes, this is something I want to take a picture of. Well, the next roll of film that I have here is shown as 1946, August, Lake Sacandaga, Vivian's Thanksgiving, Grandpa and Grandma Seaman, March 1947, Cindy, Roger, and me at Huntington Harbor in 1947, April. A landmark picture. Here we go. Now, who is where? You tell me. That's Lake Sacandaga. Marion and I went there again, I think in 1989. About that time frame. A very cold place. It's in the Adirondack Mountains, considerably north of Albany, a place to go camping. The only time of the year to go camping there is late July and early August. I think they have summer for 2 weeks. Late July to early August. Was a favorite camping spot of Grandpa Judd. My father had told me that he had driven up there many years before. I guess it must have been in the 20s or 30s to go camping there. Now that's Aunt Vivian on the left and Grandma Judd on the right, and Mom right there. This, I suppose, is Vivian's Thanksgiving. And their house in Huntington, Aunt Vivian and Uncle Dave's house. And there's Uncle Dave's little workshop in the back. I think that was our 1946 Ford. Grandma had a little trouble getting in the door. And Uncle Dave's Hudson, I think it was. That's Grandpa Seaman. I think Grandpa Judd may have died before this. Unfortunately, and Grandma Seaman in the back. They were perhaps here for the funeral, I don't know. Cindy. Hello, Cindy. There you are. Peaches or Ducky, I think it was to be. A common scene around Long Island. Peaches or Ducky. That's you, Cindy. I hated having my hair combed. End of this one. Interestingly enough, Cindy, for your information, the terms for your name, Peaches or Ducky, regarding the last film, were a sort of a contest between Roger and I. We thought we ought to have some input in naming you, since you were to be the young sister. Well, we didn't know you were going to be a sister, but we thought Peaches and Ducky would be nice names. I don't remember right now who thought Peaches and who thought Ducky, but, well, there you are anyway. The next film is 1947, August. Boy, aren't we big. That's on Dad's 46 Ford. Didn't have it too long. Wasn't a very good car. Where are you, Cindy? I don't see you anywhere yet. Look at this. Genuine steam. And there it goes. A little bit of... There you are, Cindy. You look at the red hair. Goodness sakes. You're in back of our house at Sperry Boulevard. That's almost underneath my bedroom window, I think. Or Roger and my bedroom window. Dad had made a room upstairs for themselves, for he and Mom. For him and Mom. There you are, look at you. Oh well, I've seen that before. See how the bricks are kicked up on the wall there? I used to jump out that window a lot. Right down by that basement window you see on the right. You get tired of my voice, you just put down the volume and tell the folks what you remember about this. Oh, you were a pretty picture. With and without hat or bonnet. The tribe. Oh, did you catch the eyes? Interesting. You were sitting up. Goodness sakes, look at this. Well, end of this one. The next roll I've opened up is marked Tony and Johnny, Ruthie Ballack, and Adirondacks. I think it's 1947 or 48, but when I opened up the roll, There was no leader, and so we're going to have to stop it partway through. Let's see what I can see of it, and I'll stop it when I have to. Oh, no good. I have to stop it right there. Going to be a very short roll. These must be the Balacs. That's the film right there. Well, I had hoped that last film was going to show more than it did. I think perhaps it may have been cut and spliced into another film, or perhaps lost. It was quite short. In any case, we're going on to 1950, Summer Jones Beach. Maybe. That's pretty bad. Not getting anywhere here. There you are, Cindy, but let me see if I can fix this. Hold on a little bit. It is still no better. I can't figure why. Seems we're playing at Jones Beach. I don't know if it's a fault of the projector or the film. I'm going to try one more time to fix it, and then we'll watch it. Well, that's the third try. I don't understand what the problem is. The film seems to be tracking properly. Best I can say is, let's make out of it what we can. That's you, Cindy. That's Mom. You were getting pretty big then, I can see. And going pretty fast, too. And Roger stays down by the surf. Now you can make something of it. What this is, I can't tell. Someone wrote something. I can't make it out. If you can tell me what it is, God bless you. Oh, I remember that lawnmower. I hated it. Oh, goodness. Wooden handle and all. That's Dad's, I think it's Dad's 46 Nash in there in the background. End of this one. Well, I'm sorry, Cindy, that previous roll didn't come out looking so good. You could ask Dad how come. We move on now to 1953, summer, Bridgehampton, Eisenhower, and Sagamore Hill. Let's see what it looks like. Jaguar XK120, Nash Healy, MGs, a whole flock of them, Porsche 356, more MG, TDs, and 356s. I remember quite vividly being here. It was quite fun. They ran this race around local roads at Bridgehampton, Long Island. As the cars get going faster, it gets a little harder to tell which is which, but it seems to be a bunch of Porsches here. A TD, a couple more TDs. Actually, it's the, oh, what is this? Oh, it's a TD. The place that I saw more Morgan three-wheelers than I'd ever seen anyplace else, and just about too shy of all that were in the United States of America at that time. I think I saw 13 Morgan three-wheelers at this race. They were on display, they didn't race. A Jowett Jupiter. TD working hard. You can find these roads today. Jaguar XK120 and Healy, I'm not sure. Several others. Oh, special cars. Quite an exciting race. I was 13. I think it was the first real race I went to. That's me, of course. You're bored with that by this time. And the classic car race. And they raced them. You will see later to what end. Ancient old Crocs hurling down the highway. Wow. Duesenberg, I think. Don't recognize it. And that's what happened to a locomobile. Went right through the hay bales and into the hedge. When they pulled it off, there was nothing really wrong. There it goes, driving away again. Built like iron. Much more modern cars now. I do recall seeing, goodness, I think it was a Ferrari going around here. They had their gas tanks in their fenders, and the skin of the fender was actually the outer wall of the gas tank. One had, that was it, that one. That was a Maserati, I believe. Had his fender ripped and gasoline was pouring right out. Terrible. Many Jaguars. Automobiles that many people would part with their teeth for today. And this must be President Eisenhower at Sagamore Hill. Teddy Roosevelt's home. There it is. He delivered a speech. I don't know what it was. Was not. I had wanted to say the speech was probably not as important as the race. With this second tape, I should bring us up to speed a little bit. The last movie we showed on the first tape was addressed to our house at 171 Lexington Street, Westbury, New York. We had moved from the previous movies to Carl Place. Actually, it wasn't Westbury, it was Carl Place. And that was that movie. This movie here that we're going to be looking at, I believe, was shot around 1953 in the summertime. And so let's take a look at it and see what we see. This was, my folks, 1950 Studebaker, and I was a little bit older then, I guess. 53, I start to get big, and our place in Vermont, the barn. We're looking down from the hill in back, and in the distance you might have seen Campbell's Hump. I don't know what we're getting here. Not much, it looks like. Oh, here we are. That looks like Cindy out there. It does indeed. I don't know where we are. I imagine this is back on Long Island, though. I don't know what happened to Vermont. Oh, goodness sakes, I've got another sailboat, and it does seem actually to be sailing. Sort of. Well, here we are back in Vermont. That may have been Lake Champlain, just as a thought. That may also have been Roger and not me. That's Pogo. Goodness, I haven't seen Pogo in many years. That's the main highway right in front of our place in outside Montpelier in Middlesex. Oh gosh, Cindy, what happened? Pogo running to the rescue. Now, I can't imagine myself being just 13 in this picture, but it's possible. And there's Roger. We're carrying wood. And Cindy, you've still got something the matter, it looks like. Like fall now. Oh, that's Tom Myers and his wife Marge. They were good friends of my father's and mother's. Fall in Vermont, quite pretty. Perhaps it was hunting season, I don't know. Packing up. The postmark on the box for this film was dated March 1955, so I would imagine that it deals with 1954, perhaps Christmas. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, I know what this is. This is the Rock of Ages Quarry in Montpelier, Vermont. Or Barrie, Vermont, I'm sorry. I recall going there for a visit and seeing how they quarry granite. There's considerable granite comes out of that place. And again, the view from the front of the barn. That's Camel's Hump, the mountain there that we're just leading the picture just now. Or couchant lion, as they used to say. There it is again. My, how the trees have grown up. That field is now all trees, I believe. That's Cindy. Yeah, there you are. And Pogo. Pogo was a very smart dog. She actually did learn one word of English. She learned how to say out. And that's our barn. I think in the background is our 1953 Studebaker, so this would be 1954 summer, I guess. I'm off to do some digging, or someone is. Me, or it looks like me. I'm only doing this for show, you know. This is the Brock's place. You're looking at the roof of it and their view. Unfortunately, we haven't got a better picture. Well, so far anyway. Wells Brock and his wife. That was our field in the back. We scythed off most of it. It is now mostly trees. Last I saw anyway. It's about 6 acres. And it took a while to do. There was Roger. Roger was working with a grass whip before. This is a view from our house in Carl Place. 171 Lexington Street. Oh, goodness. The house used to be brown. It was repainted green after a hailstorm, which knocked most of the paint off. I see there is an addition, the addition we made on the right. The end of the film. Just a couple of notes on the previous film. The addition we had made on the house at 171 Lexington Street. Actually, I say we, mostly it was my father did it, and he bought out some of the outside work. The addition was made to house my grandmother and grandfather Seaman, who had come to live with us at that time. My grandfather had retired and basically had no other place to live since he had a fairly low income at the time, and the story has it that he turned over his savings, and that financed much of the reconstruction work to our house. Also, another little note regarding the car. The 53 Studebaker was somewhat of a surprise. I think he went out and bought it and brought it home October of 1953, something like that. without telling much of anybody about it. Well, in any case, the next picture we're going to look at is probably summer 1956. I see many mountains. I suspect this may be from atop Mount Mansfield in Vermont. We did go there and were given a ride up in a Jeep. I think that's it right there. The road was rather tortuous. There was a TV antenna at the top, which I think we've just looked at. That's the road. Actually, it didn't look like a road. It looked like a mess. It's a rather thrilling ride. I enjoyed it. We saw the TV station that was there. This is, I believe, the facilities of the TV station buildings and such. All their fuel tanks so that they could remain independent of outside power. Mount Mansfield, of course, is near Stowe. This is our summer place, our barn, and a rear view showing the door that is now a fireplace, or was for a long time a fireplace, serving actually as a door. Don't know why all this digging was going on, but it was probably important at the time. My father had bought that place, built in 1939, with 6 acres for $1,000. I believe from the Brock family. Near evening. There was a cupola on top of the barn at that time. Oh, Grandma Judd visiting our house. I'd finally got my glasses on. Reminiscent of previous pictures. Roger, you're going to have to tell us who lived across the street. His name slips me for the moment. Or Cindy, perhaps. As so often happens, and has happened in my life, you start out with the idea of taking pictures of everything that seems significant, important, and find that you really haven't got the time and the energy, perhaps, as you get a little bit older, to do all that kind of thing. And we're down to sort of like a film a year now, so time is going to pass pretty fast. I think this is 1957 or thereabouts. I might have the date wrong, and I might be out of sequence a little bit, but the box is marked MGA Sandpit Trials, Cape Cod, Fall of 1958, Vermont, 1957, Roger and Cindy. I don't know. Here we go. Oh, that's my favorite leather coat. I do think this might be a bit out of sequence. I'm not sure here. The white car is my father's first real sports car. We'd had a couple of cars before that, one of which actually I sort of learned how to drive on. It was a Sunbeam Talbot. He'd had before that an Austin A40, which was a nice enough car, but not really a car. And this he bought brand new. He convinced me to sell my share of the Sunbeam Talbot, which was $100. Or give, I should say, my share. And with that, and some more money, he bought this MG. 1957 MG. Which he subsequently supercharged with a Judson supercharger. I don't remember this event at all. Perhaps it's because maybe I wasn't there. You see many people with flapping tops. There's Mom. Nothing but white now. What have we got there? In the middle of the picture is something. Prettier in the green. Oh, that's out in front of the barn. In those years, Mom and Dad liked to go off and spend the afternoon under an apple tree someplace. I never knew where the apple tree was. They wouldn't tell us kids. We were told to hang around and have fun, which is mostly what we did. Cindy, you're much bigger now. Oh goodness, look at you picking flowers. Lilacs, I think. Someone has just taken a bath. We used to go up to the outhouse to take a bath. The same 53 Studebaker, and I'm driving now. Sperry Sports Car Club badge on the front. As we get on here a little bit, Dad's record keeping seems to have slipped a little bit, and so I'm not really so terribly sure of what we've got. But this seems to be 1957 or 58 white MGA, it says. Or I see that on the film. Pride and joy. Well polished. Robinson, wasn't that the name of the people across the street? Oh, is that Dad there? Not sure. That's our street. And that's our house. And there's a kitchen extension on the back, I see, and the crabapple trees are blossoming nicely. So it must be spring. It still had a fine eye for a pretty picture. Our backyard, I think. Now I see the wires there on the upper left. Is that Roger? Yes, it is. Oh, Dad's Peugeot. That was a 61 Peugeot, I think. So we're probably advanced considerably in time, more than I thought. Or 60 Peugeot. Again, our barn. And Pogo. That's the bridge that brought us across the little creek. Well, it really wasn't much of a creek. It was mostly a dried up spring. Spring flowed all right, but there was always a little water running in below the bridge. I think that's the road going up to the Brock's camp. Too bad we are losing it here. That last film seems to have been definitely out of sequence, I'm sorry. It's probably 1960 or something. What we're going to look at next looks like 1958, again, I think. Au Sable Chasm and Lake Champlain, it is marked. This is presumably Lake Champlain. I can't think that it's Au Sable Chasm. Au Sable Chasm isn't that wide. Apparently we're on a ferry boat. I've taken that boat, actually, most recently, I suppose, in 1987. And it goes over to Essex Junction, or Essex, New York. from near Burlington. This would be Au Sable Chasm. Lots of rocks, very deep, very pretty. This again seems to be Lake Champlain. I imagine we were going back in the afternoon. This place is not familiar. Again, looks like Lake Champlain. Now, who recognizes this car? I don't know, maybe we're later. That was Cindy, I think, on the right. Perhaps Mom driving. I don't know the date of this film. The car they were driving in might have been the Dodge Polara. I'm not sure. I haven't much familiarity with that. We're on a ski lift here. Up, let's say, Mount Mansfield. I'd take a good guess at that. So much for this film, though. Just a note for you, Cindy and Roger. I'm blathering away about these films, but I think that you've probably seen some of these pictures better than I have, or recall better than I can what's going on. So by all means, turn down the TV sound and jump in. That's Camel's Hump. This seems to be, to me, 1958 in Vermont. I'm not sure. There's Mom and Cindy and Pogo. I don't know. Oh, I know. I think the Peugeot was a 58. Maybe the time is correct. You'd probably kick me for that, Roger. Ah, yes. That's as far as the chimney got. We got tired of laying up stones. Note the back door is now closed. What's this? I have no idea where. Bunch of old huffer puffers. I do seem to recall an old car show at in Old Westbury at what used to be the Polo Grounds in Westbury. That may have been that. I don't know. Rocks, gravel. I don't know. If anyone sees a 1903 Rio, I recall that being there. Oh, fancy folks with their Cadillac. They bring it in on a trailer, don't they? Naturally, it's a Cadillac Eldorado, too. Huh. See, Ma, it works backwards. I guess it works forward. At this time, these cars were about 35 years newer than they are now. Wow. Some real old Crocs. That's a 1903 Rio, but the one I saw there was actually running on the road. Oh, that may be it. There it goes. The following film is an accidental double exposure. I couldn't place it when I first looked at it and found it to be like I say, a double exposure. It's kind of interesting, but you have to watch sort of two movies at once with this one. I might say it's also rather short. The MGA is on top, and people are swimming in the swimming pool underneath. That was our road going into our place in Vermont, and there are cars floating upside down. Kind of surreal. Don't know, but this is probably in the 57-58 time frame. That's the Lapines' house. There you go. Turn your TV upside down. Scenes of Vermont, and apparently a gymkhana or autocross, I'm not sure which, or when. It's kind of pretty in its own way, though. Just a little note on the film we just watched. As to the technology of the day, these films are all 8mm films, but when they were sold as 16mm wide, and what you were supposed to do was load the 16mm film into your 8mm camera, which you did. It was made to accommodate that, and then you shot half the film, and then what you were supposed to do is take the film out and turn it around and put it back in and shoot the other half. Now apparently what someone did with this, probably did, was to take the film out and put it right back in again without having turned it over. And that's probably how that worked out the way it did. I have myself made use of that in my own pictures and made some intentional double exposures, but this was clearly accidental. This picture here is marked 1959 Florida. I know Dad took a trip to the Orlando area. No, it wasn't Orlando. Clearwater, I think it was. And took some pictures there when he went in 1959. We see much Spanish moss hanging from trees, little houses, very little houses, and scenery going by very fast. As I recall, he much like Florida. These are oranges on the trees, going by very fast. It was a business trip, as I recall. Must be at a zoo or something. Don't think it's anyone's backyard. Almost looked like the orchids in the Bronx Zoo a little while ago, and Radio City Music Hall statue. No, not Radio City Music Hall, Rockefeller Center, I'm sorry. Where we may be now, I can't say. There is much Spanish moss and oranges on trees. I know he stayed with some, apparently, or stopped by some co-workers there. To my knowledge, this is the only time. Well, no, he did travel to Florida once or twice more. Looks like 58 Ford station wagon. Talked about going into their swimming pool and finding a scorpion in his shoe when he came out. I do recall that. Most likely the co-workers' children. Little tourism, it looks like. Where are we now? I don't know. This film is marked Vermont, 1960. Here's Roger. And Pogo. Out in the middle of the highway. Cindy picking berries or flowers? I don't know, berries, I think. That's what we lived on in Vermont, was berries. And they grew right outside the house. It's our Peugeot, I guess 1958, I guess it was. And where, I don't know. I wish I could read it. And that back at Lexington Street. Mr. Ajuchin lived in the house on the left. Seems to be me. Seems to be Cindy, again with Pogo. Looks as though we just come from church. Oh, smoking, what a terrible habit. Looks like I'm leaving for college or something. Here we come through the woods to our place in Vermont. This is, oh no, that's me driving. I had inherited the Studebaker by that time. There follows a film with the markings Vermont, MGA, Road Pictures, Falls, and Notch, probably Smuggler's Notch. I would guess it's probably 59 or 60. This is Mount Mansfield ski lift, quite near Smuggler's Notch and Stowe, Vermont. Apparently we're on the ski lift going down, so it seems. I don't know that car. Very nice Pontiac. Dodge Polara. 60, I think. 1960. Much smoke from the chimney. That's the Dodge. Cindy? Whose car this was, I don't know. Cindy, perhaps you can tell us. I see the falls. Could this be the top of the falls on Route 100? I don't know. Seems like Route 100. Yes, that's what it is. 100B. I think it's B. That's Route 7. I'd guess we're driving south. Got me. Now that's the twin cam MG that my father had subsequently. Quite striking, quite fast. Fancy engine. From both sides. Neither side is plain. And inside the garage. Hi, Cindy. Oh, you're right, you must have been driving now. Oh, this was the kid that Mom had up to Vermont. Roger, there you are. 2 kids. Off we go. A short note on the previous film. The 2 little kids shown in that film were, I think, what they used to call fresh air kids. The idea was that kids from the inner city never had a chance to get out any place, and through what? Newspapers, I suppose, and radio, TV, and whatnot. Various kids and their parents made it known that they would like to perhaps go away for the summer or something like that and get out and see something else of the world besides dirty city streets. And there was a program that Mom was a part of that actually did that. Kids would be brought by other people to see different parts of the country that they didn't know about, and that's what that was all about. I think they were up to Vermont. Well, at any rate, this film here coming up is 1961, and it shows my wedding and a trip to Florida, it says on the box. Wait, not yet. Should be a little better now. Well, it isn't just my wedding, it's my wedding to Marion Ellen McCormick, but here's a trip to Florida first. I can tell by the Spanish moss on the trees. $250. I'd better see that a little bit bigger.